Twice I asked her to marry me, but both times she declined using the same two words. Not now. Initially, I assumed she needed some space, but eventually I grasped the real significance of her response. Then I said something unexpected in return. That was supposed to be the end. However, she was taken aback when she encountered me 3 months later, entering our shared office with someone who had been prepared for my departure for 5 years. My world revolved around her aspirations, comfort, and timeline. The first proposal took place on our anniversary, mirroring the cliffside restaurant where we initially dated. I worked tirelessly for 6 months to buy a ring symbolizing our future. When I presented it, I anticipated emotion, yet she was engrossed in her phone. She expressed concerns about her career being at a critical juncture and that engagement would add complications. I responded with understanding and a smile. I acknowledged comprehension. I convinced myself that love necessitated endurance. After 2 years, I attempted again. No fancy dinner, no grand display, only us. In the apartment we cohabited, peaceful, genuine. By then, she had accomplished everything she stated she desired. I genuinely thought the moment would finally be opportune. I barely completed my question when she sighed. Not now. Her tone wasn't hesitant, it was aggravated. She expressed that marriage felt confining. That labels weren't essential, that we were satisfactory as we were. It was at this point I understood. She appreciated my presence. She appreciated the shared expenses. She appreciated the emotional security, but she didn't want to commit to me. That night beside her, I came to a painful realization. I wasn't her partner, I was her contingency plan, the support system she could depend on while keeping possibilities open. In the morning, I didn't counter or plead. I merely stated calmly, I can't keep constructing a life on my own, calling it togetherness. I quit. At first, she laughed, believed I was reacting emotionally. However, as I began packing, her laughter ceased. She claimed I was abandoning 5 years due to a single document, but I recognized the truth. I wasn't sacrificing 5 years. Instead, I was safeguarding the subsequent 50. That afternoon, I departed, severed ties, and maintained tranquility. No drama, no vengeance, simply space for healing. I immersed myself in my work at the architecture firm, where I encountered Sarah. She was spearheading a significant design project that I managed. From day one, there was an unusual feeling. She didn't view commitment as a snare. Rather, she regarded it as a base. Our professional relationship evolved into shared coffee breaks after meetings, lengthy discussions about principles, family, and future. There were no ambiguous signs or hesitation, only clarity. 3 months following my separation from my ex, I had to revisit the office building we once shared to finalize the lease termination papers. I felt neither anxious nor enraged, and I was not alone. Sarah accompanied me. As we entered the lobby, attempts by memories to resurface were thwarted. In the gleaming halls, redolent with the aroma of pricey polish, echoing steps reminiscent of our existence past. Yet this visit I remained unwavering. Sarah interlaced our fingers, not a claim to ownership, not a show, just a presence. My intention wasn't declaration or demonstration, it was closure. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like an anticipated selection. Instead, I sensed a chosen one. She proposed rethinking things when she was prepared, when timing suited her. The courage to propose such struck me as commendable. Nearly. She underestimated my patience, presuming I would persist on hold like an unfinished draft, ready to recommence whenever she decided to play. I felt devoid of animosity, disappointment, or reminiscence, just understanding. I casually introduced Sarah. This is my partner, I stated, and she's managing the City Park project. That was the same initiative Maya had been campaigning for throughout the year. Her complexion paled upon hearing this. In a silent instant, she grasped an unforeseen truth. As she pondered over my worthiness, another had already deemed me sufficient in a professional context. The chance she assumed was hers slipped away, finding a more capable contender instead. We entered the conference room, the space seeming cold and resonant, resembling a museum display for a relationship long past. I unfolded the folder, revealing legalese pages, final figures, and a clean divorce settlement, the last bond linking our lives. Maya trailed behind us, tense and noticeably agitated. Sitting opposite me, she tightly clung to the documents as if they might vanish. Ignoring Sarah completely, she fixated on me with an intensity often used to pull me back when doubts arose. Then she began to reminisce. 5 years, shared travels, private humor, moments we once held sacred. She admitted her delay in commitment was due to her quest for perfection. She acknowledged the second moment had come. Rejection served as a trial to gauge my determination. She expressed pain at my effortless departure. I almost smiled. In 5 years, I came to recognize that I deserved assurance. I allowed her to speak, every excuse, every rewrite of history, every attempt to manipulate the past to save face. When she finally ran out of arguments, the room's silence became oppressive. Nets. When I spoke, .com/steady. You didn't challenge me, you delayed me. I expounded that love can't be validated by prolonging wait times indefinitely. Commitment isn't a prize to be dangled. It's either reciprocal or it's not. She attempted one final maneuver. Her voice softened. She claimed readiness now, suggesting we could rectify the situation, claiming our shared history was too valuable to discard. However, the reality is that history and future are two different things. A slide. The signed papers lay across the table. I stated that this concludes today. Her hands quivered as she signed. In that instant, a change occurred. Not within her, but in me. For years, I sought validation, reassurance, and unwavering choice from her. Yet by her side was a woman who never instilled doubts about my standing. In that realization, I understood a profound truth. The right person doesn't require auditions for permanence. They offer it freely. As Maya appeared diminished upon rising, not weakened but vulnerable, she assumed my orbit would remain unchanged indefinitely. She thought I'd always be an alternative, but alternatives expire. Sarah gently squeezed my hand as we left the conference room, not dominantly or victoriously, simply supportive. As the elevator doors closed, our reflection reappeared. This time, I didn't recognize a heartbroken individual. Instead, I saw someone who ceased bargaining his value. The elevator opened to the lobby. Fresh air, open space, a clear exit. For the first time in years, I wasn't departing from something. I was stepping into something new. Approaching a certain point, she fell silent. I didn't need to ask why. She met my gaze. I leaned slightly forward, my voice measured. It wasn't simple, I admitted, but it was essential. I shared with her something I wished I had grasped years ago. When affection transforms into a challenge or when trust is wielded as a tool, that's not partnership, that's domination. A true partner doesn't make you prove basic reassurance. As she pondered my patience, I was growing in self-worth. I deserve more than this. I sought someone who wouldn't hesitate to build a life with me. Sarah's hand rested gently on mine. It wasn't dramatic or possessive, it was natural. For the first time since we entered, Maya looked defeated not from losing an argument but from losing certainty. With deliberate strokes, I signed the last page and slid the document towards her. Once you sign here, I whispered, there will be no connection left between us. She scrutinized the pen as if its markings held weightier consequences than ink, for they did. To sign was to relinquish a role beyond mere possibility, backup, or hesitation. Making one last effort, she requested a private discussion, but I rose and donned my coat. The talk concluded there. I responded, the second time you instructed me as such. After a lengthy silence, she inscribed her name. Her signature seemed slight, timid. The closing of the folder echoed like a door slamming shut, irrevocable. As we departed, I observed the office personnel feigning indifference. The ambience had altered. For years, she commanded that domain with certainty and strategy. Now she sat motionless, watching the life she believed was assured depart without a backward glance. In the outside world, the sun shone more radiantly than I recalled. The city's cacophony didn't inundate me. Instead, it felt liberating, like applause. I drew a deep breath and acknowledged an unexpected revelation. For years, I hadn't realized I was bearing emotional burdens, but when with Sarah, everything felt straightforward, not effortless, but genuine, without manipulations or procrastinations. She was self-aware and decisive, choosing me unhesitatingly. This clarity exposed my past complicated excuses as mere evasions cloaked in sophistication. 3 months later, I returned to the cliffside where I had once proposed years ago. Previously, I felt like a man on trial. Now I felt like a man who had found his home. I didn't need a dramatic declaration to express our relationship status, but I delivered one nonetheless. When someone stands by you wholeheartedly, they deserve the same commitment in return. When I asked her to marry me, she didn't hesitate or stall. Instead, she smiled even before I finished my question, signifying her unwavering yes. No conditions attached. In that instant, I grasped a profound truth. Those rejections I previously perceived as setbacks were actually detours. They weren't defeats, they were safeguards. I was not designed for perpetual pleading. Instead, I was destined to construct it with someone who yearned for the same destiny. Now I am no longer an alternative option, no longer a fallback. I am a partner in a relationship based on mutual respect, understanding, and equal investment. While the view from that cliff extended infinitely across the horizon, for the first time, my focus wasn't on the distance ahead, but on the person by my side. That shift made all the difference. If this narrative resonated with you, I am intrigued to know where in the world are you situated. And if you agree that commitment should never be a compromise, consider subscribing. We routinely share compelling relationship stories every week, including an astonishing case where a husband unveiled a truth he had never anticipated. You wouldn't want to miss that tale.